We're back with another 2021 rookie profile. Is Matt Bushman a heat seeker? Watch and find out. It's Brad from RotoHeat and RookieDraftGuide.com. Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't subscribed already, now's the time. Let's do this. Join us on this magical journey. And if you have already, thank you. We're glad you're along for the ride. Don't forget, check out RookieDraftGuide.com. All right, so Bushman, got to get this out of the way first, was in the 2014 rookie recruiting class. He was a three-star prospect out of Tucson, Arizona, Sabino High School. He went to BYU. All right, Bushman was a three-star prospect in the 2014 recruiting class. Obviously, went to BYU, was on a missions trip, didn't really get into any actual game action until 2017. And then obviously 2020 was cut short when he had the Achilles injury before things could get going. Coming out though, being a three-star prospect, he had plenty of offers. When you look at like 247, they have a section that shows you the different different colleges that offer. Arizona, Colorado, Duke, Utah, chose BYU. Was, not insanely highly sought after, but plenty of offers. There was definitely a lot of love for the 6'5", 200-pounder out of Tucson, Arizona, coming into college. And when he got there, wasn't mind-blowing or eye-popping, when it comes to, anything on the field, but he was definitely did fine. I mean, when we go through the notes here later in the video, that's kind of the mantra you'll see with Bushman is doesn't really do anything bad, but isn't really elite at anything either. 2017, he got in all 13 games, 49 catches, 520 yards, 3 touchdowns. 2018, 11 games, 29 catches, 511 yards, 2 touchdowns. 2019, 12 games, 47 receptions, 688 yards, 4 touchdowns. Averages to about 14 yards of reception. He's very similar to other tight ends that we've evaluated in this draft class, or at least one in particular, one of the last ones that we talked about, but you'll have to go check it out. When it comes to, he doesn't do anything spectacular, does everything just fine, inline blocker, does all the things you could ask him to do as a tight end, can be moved out, split out in the slot, and done some of those things. A pretty all-around solid tight end, but nothing spectacular. Unfortunately, right now in fantasy, we have a lot of those not spectacular tight ends. So I'm not sure that this really wows you when you're looking at that aspect. But hear us out. The team is very much split down the middle on how they feel about him. So my question to you about his status is one of your top tight ends in this class is an intriguing one, and I want to know your thoughts and feelings on it because this guy really could push people either way. Now, obviously, coming off an injury, that adds another wrinkle into the dynamic of what do teams do with this player. Do they draft him as a guy that's going to need some time to heal up and some of that? Well, now you think he's 25 years old, and how much do you want to sit and wait and some of those things. So it'll be interesting to see how the draft process goes for Bushman overall. But the college profile definitely should intrigue teams enough for them to want to continue to find more information out about him. Bushman's almost the ideal person that you want to sit and write a pros and cons list about. As I was going through the evaluator's notes and as I was watching and pulling up tape on Bushman, you see a kid who can do from the receiving side of things, he can do what's needed to be done. He runs okay routes, nothing spectacular, but he does what he needs to do. Can be in line as a blocker, can be flexed out as a receiver. And he reminds me a little bit more of a not so old school tight end, kind of some of those guys you would see in the mid 2000s into like the early 2010 range. Fairly solid athletic profile, kind of above average athletic profile, but not, the vertical threats we're seeing nowadays. He's averaging 14-ish yards a catch because he can find the soft zones in the defense. His IQ is solid. He can find the soft zones in the defense, sit down, get what the quarterback's throwing to him. Probably not going to make a big play, typically, unless there's busted coverage. You know, he gets what's given to him, and that's really about it. That's not terrible when you think about it. You know, you want a guy who's consistent. And when I look through the guy's notes, a few of the dudes on the team saw good hands or above average hands. Some of the guys saw, you know, above average in a lot of areas, but nothing elite or spectacular about him. You know, but in this class, you're going to see a player like Bushman slide down some because you have, you know, Brevin Jordan, Kyle Pitts, Freiermuth, Hunter Long, Charlie Kolar, Trey McKitty. I mean, you've got a lot of vertical threat type guys that really can do a bit more than what's being asked of Bushman, or what has been so far asked of him. I thought it was interesting. You know, I'm not going to go into too much detail because you got to go to rookiedraftguide.com and join us to find out the deep details on him. But there was one of our evaluators that really didn't like anything about him. Just wasn't an NFL talent at all. I mean, so I want to put that out there because I don't want you to be surprised if things aren't great. You know, some of the guys on the team really have zero interest in him at all. Some of the guys on the team think he could develop into a solid but not spectacular tight end. So, you know, you kind of see his value kind of capped. And that's concerning. You know, that's definitely when it comes to your rookie draft, this isn't the guy that's drafted early unless something spectacular happens. You know, if Bushman goes to a place like New England, who's been looking for a tight end since Gronk left, and, you know, Asaisi and some of the guys they drafted last year aren't developed, but this is the new hotness that comes into the equation, you know, then that bumps up his stock potentially. You know, if you're one of those people that buys into the hype of New England and tight ends. I'm not, but some people do. That being said, you know, with all that being said, we kind of know where his ceiling is. So if you go to rookiedraftguide.com, we're helping you figure out where you need to draft him if you want to stash him on your taxi squad and kind of figure out what he is. He's one of those guys that if you're in, you know, kind of those tight end premium leagues, definitely a person to keep an eye on, you know. One of those, because after like the number 3 tight end, there's a bit of room for guys to make a name for themselves and really push themselves into that conversation of number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7 in the tight end ranking. So maybe. But keep that conversation going below. Let me know in the comments. You know we're chatting. You know I'm in there dropping some comments, clicking on the hearts on the YouTubes and the likes and the thumbs and all that. Let's keep this conversation going. Let me know if he's one of your top 5 rookie tight ends, and let me know why. Tell us if you see something that made you think he's better than what I've been saying. You know, teams kind of meh on him. Not really super excited. And some are even all the way out. So let's keep that conversation going. Don't forget, we got Discord, we got Facebook, we got all the things. We love you guys. We'll talk to you again soon.